Hello, welcome to Deacon's Info Talk. I'm your host, Deacon, and welcome back, everybody, to another episode on the channel, episode 31, the first episode in a month. I cannot believe that a month has already been passed. And yeah, in case you didn't know, I was gone a month because of vacation, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, good to be back. I can't wait to get back to doing more episodes like this. But before we get started, here's a little preview of what this episode is going to look like. We have multiple topics of NFL news. When I say that, I mean like 3 full pages of NFL news, and they're big headliners too. And then we have about 4 quick hits. The quick hits are actually pretty big news too. I mean, really big news there. And then we have three reactions to get to. The first one is actually kind of crazy, but we might start highlights. Like, we might replace reactions with highlights. We'll see about that there. So that'll that might be changed pretty soon. And as you guys wanted Stardom, Situm, NFL Fantasy. So I'm going to bring that this week. I cannot wait to get back into the groove. And this is Deacon's NFL Talk. Alright, everybody, we're going to jump right into this. So, like always, we're going to start off with the first topic. And this week's first topic is pretty big news for Jets fans, but I don't think it is a major injury. But Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers suffers from a low ankle sprain in New York's Week 5 loss to Minnesota in London, I believe. And this came after when his ankle got caught in a pile and landed like really awkwardly. I don't think he's like severely injured. I think it's just a very minor injury. I do not know that 100%, so don't listen to me all the time. But like I said, big topic here. But I mean, before the injury, Rodgers made NFL history, in case you guys didn't know that, becoming the 9th quarterback to reach 60,000 career passing yards. The quarterbacks ahead of him are Dan Marino, Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady. And that's a good list of quarterbacks right there. And I'm not surprised that Aaron Rodgers joins that group. I mean, he's going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. There's no doubt he's going to be in the Hall of Fame at some point. But yeah, I don't think it's a severe injury, which is the good news for Jets fans. I think even if he was injured, like, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is starting to show his age. Like, as he hasn't been playing in his prime on the Jets. I know he doesn't have he doesn't have a Devontae Adams, but he has Garrett Wilson, which is a really good receiver there, really good young talent. But I mean, yeah, we'll see. Devontae Adams, I saw while I was on vacation, that he requested a trade, which I was a little bit shocked by that, but also not shocked at the same time because I mean, he doesn't have the greatest quarterback ever, and he just doesn't look happy in Las Vegas, even though it was his favorite team growing up. He's just not happy there. So if I had to hand out landing spots, I would probably say like the Bills, Chiefs, Jets, and Steelers probably be some of those options for Devontae Adams. But yeah, I don't think this is a major injury for Aaron Rodgers. I do not believe so. I could be wrong though. I'm gonna look it up here. I mean, he's limited in practice, so we'll see what happens there. That's the earliest thing that I've seen. So I think it's 50-50, but we'll see what happens there. If anything, I would say he's probably out for a week. I mean, the fact that he's already limited a week later. So I feel like next week is a full go, and this week is a little bit up in the air. We'll see how he feels by Sunday. Monday. They play Monday night. That's right. But all right. We actually have a couple topics of players achieving a bunch of milestones and a bunch of accomplishments. And Derrick Henry was actually one of the 3 or 4 this week that he actually accomplished 2 milestones in the overtime win against the Bengals, which was arguably the game of the year. I mean, I watched that. I was home by then, but that was a great game. As much as I wanted the Bengals to win, I have to give it to the Ravens because that was an outstanding game. That was a crazy game to watch. I loved watching that game. I could definitely watch it again for sure. But anyway, Henry became the 5th player in NFL history to record 10,000 rush yards and 100 touchdowns in their first 125 games. And the 4 players ahead of him are Jim Brown, Emmitt Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Adrian Peterson. So that is a very good group of running backs. And there's no like I said with Aaron Rodgers, there's no doubt that Derrick Henry is a Hall of Famer. There's just no doubt in my mind. And if it takes them a while to put him in the Hall of Fame, I mean, dude, he still has a lot of football to play. I mean, he's only 30 or something. I believe that he's in his 30s or something like that, and like he's still got a lot of football left in him, and he's going to be one of the greatest running backs of all time. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, he can be the fifth player in NFL history to record 10,000 rush yards and 100 touchdowns in the first 125 games. Congrats to Derrick Henry and Ravens. Yeah, I mean, in his first year with the Ravens, I feel like week 5 against the Bengals, Derrick Henry was pretty quiet other than that big run that he broke out in overtime to set up the game-winning field goal for them. Other than that, I feel like the Bengals D-line and really just Derrick Henry didn't have a whole bunch of explosive plays. I mean, they put in Justice Hill for a little bit, and then they finally put in Derrick Henry on their last drive to win the game. But yeah, congrats to Derrick Henry. It's actually crazy. I mean, he's already. I feel it's like he's like not new to the league, but it feels like he's not that old either. But yeah. All right, third topic. All right, Patriots head coach Gerard Mayo making a quarterback change. This does not come as a surprise. I didn't expect it was going to happen this season, but whenever I saw that he was going to start Jacoby Brissett like at the start of the season, like I was a little bit like, why don't we just start like Drake May or something? Like it could just be me, but I feel like I should have started Drake May in week 1. That's just me though. But I'm not really surprised that this happened. I mean, am I a little bit surprised that it happened now? I am a little bit, but I mean. He said after the game, after the Week 5 loss to the Dolphins, who do have a backup quarterback, Mayo said after the game that the Brissett has not been playing good enough, which doesn't come as a surprise. I mean, that he said that. I mean, before, he was looking decent. He wasn't looking the greatest, but other than Week 1, I'm trying to think. I'm stuttering. I'm trying to think back, but Week 1, obviously, against the Bengals, they always struggle in Week 1. He looked really good. I mean, the offense looked amazing, too. I mean, the entire offense and defense looked really good for the Patriots, and people were speculating that, oh, maybe this was the right decision. After that, it was iffy. I'll tell you that. That was definitely rough after that and that they went through, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, like, I'm trying to think. Week 2, who'd they play? I'm gonna go back because I know, like, as a Bengals fan, I watched like the last drive of that game. So I mean, I don't really see too much there, but obviously I saw the stats, and he's really good in that game. So Week 1, you beat the Bengals. Week 2, you lost in overtime to the Seahawks, 23-20, who have absolutely fallen off. Then you lose to the Jets, 24-3. Then you lose to the 49ers, 30-13. Then you lose to the Dolphins, who don't have Tua, might I add. 15-10, and then now you're playing Houston. I feel like Drake May, I don't know why, but like I just feel like he can be a really good quarterback. I know like it's probably too late to call him offensive rookie of the year candidate, but I just feel like he's gonna do a lot better than what people think, and I feel like Mayo's gonna regret like not starting him the first few games, because I feel like he should have been starting since week 1. That's just me, but I think he definitely should have been starting week 1. I mean, Mayo's initial goal was to develop Drake May, which that makes sense. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you want to have weapons around a franchise quarterback, and the Patriots don't really have that. Other than Hunter Henry, really, that's pretty much it. But now that it's changed sooner than we thought, or maybe some of you guys had a feeling that this was going to happen. Once I started Jacoby Brissett, I was like, oh, maybe I intentionally thought like that he would just start for the rest of the year, but that has changed now, and I feel like they should have started in week 1. Who knows what it would have looked like if they started in week 1? That's the thing. Like, could they have beaten the Seahawks? Could they have beaten the Jets or the Dolphins? We'll see what he performs like. We'll see if he's better or worse than Jacoby Brissett. But before we go to the next topic, I will add that Drake May is not the only rookie quarterback to make his debut this week, because Spencer Rattler is also going to be starting this week after Saints quarterback Derek Carr injured is like I don't know what the injury was. But anyway, we'll go to the next topic. We'll get to that topic in a little bit. Texans wide receiver Nico Collins out for 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. The Texans placed him on IR. This came after a 67-yard touchdown bomb from quarterback C.J. Stroud. And obviously the Texans went out to win that game. And really huge blow for the Texans. I mean, Nico Collins, I feel like is more. I feel like he's not getting as much praise as he should. Even I'm not like super high on him. Like I feel like he's deserves more credit than what he is getting now, at least from my standpoint. I mean, DeMeco Ryans, the Texans head coach, initially listed him as day-to-day, but then switched to week-to-week before ultimately ruling him out for 4 weeks. So, really big loss for the Texans here. I mean, I'm going to pull up their schedule. Will he miss any important games? That's the thing. Because I think the first 2 or 3 weeks, all right, so obviously against the Patriots, there's no need for him there. Because the Texans, they still have Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell. They still have those two receivers there. I think they'll hold up just fine. Then at Green Bay, which could be a pretty big game, but I think the Texans will pull that one out. So, yeah, you could use Nico Collins there. Like, you could need him at some point, but I just feel like they'll be fine there. Against the Colts, I think he'll be fine. Against the Jets, he'll be fine. If for some reason that Nico Collins wants to sit out one more week, he would miss against Detroit, which I feel like he is not going to want to sit out that game. You're going to need him for that game because that is going to be a great game. I'll not be surprised if that would be a game of the year option or a candidate for that. I mean, like I said, the biggest game that he is slated to miss is at Green Bay. But other than that, he's not going to miss anything huge. I mean, the Jets, I feel like that'll be a breeze. The Colts will be a breeze. The Patriots will be a breeze. If the Packers bring their all, then yeah. But like I said, if he wanted to miss one extra week, he'd be out versus the Lions, which I don't see that happening really. But we'll see what happens there with Nico Collins. Hopefully, it gets better, and the Texans are going to need him as the season goes on. But I think 4 weeks, when you don't play any big games other than the Packers, I think he'll be just fine without him. We already have Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell. I think he'll be just fine. But all right, I believe this is the 5th topic, right? Yeah, 5th topic. Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice likely done for the remainder of the 2024 season after injuring his LCL against the Chargers. And big news here. I mean, they're already without Hollywood Brown and Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, the good news is that Rice is expected to make a full recovery, which is the really good news. They're happy for the Chiefs there that he will recover. This is decent. It's not a old topic, but I think it says likely, but it then says for sure. So I don't know if that's changed or not. Yeah, he went under successful LCL surgery and is expected to miss 4 months. So that's the remainder of the year. So I mean, October, November, December, January, February. I mean, if he's healthy enough to come back to the Super Bowl, I mean, if he's early enough for the Super Bowl, then I wouldn't be surprised, but maybe a little bit. But I think just call it a year. I mean, they're 5-0, so I mean, they're doing just fine. But the injury happened when Rice tried to make a tackle on Chargers corner Christian Felton when he collided with Patrick Mahomes, resulting in an injury. It just Mahomes tried to hit stick him. I don't know what he tried to do, but then he just sat on the ground. Then Rice just his knee when you're running and then your knee just kind of breaks and it kind of bends backwards almost. That's one of the worst injuries. I mean, you always hate those kind of season-ending injuries and stuff. But yeah, the good news is that obviously, like I said, he's gonna make a full recovery and will miss 4 months, which isn't the worst. But yeah, he is gonna miss the remainder of the season. But I mean, this is really disappointing. I mean, losing Rice is huge. The fact that Kansas City already without Hollywood Brown and Isaiah Pacheco. Sorry. I just saw Hollywood Brown is out for the rest of for the remainder of the regular season. So I mean, he'll probably be back for the postseason. Maybe late postseason. I don't know what's gonna happen there. And then with the shoulder injury, that's what Hollywood Brown is suffering right now. And also without running back Isaiah Pacheco, with a fibula injury for 6 to 8 weeks. So, I mean, they're really banged up on the offensive side. I mean, you have Travis Kelce, sure, but I feel like you need more weapons outside of him. Right when you get Hollywood Brown, like, I feel like they always, like, there's something always goes wrong with the Chiefs during the offseason. And then, yeah, like, they somehow play good. Like, Hollywood Brown, this is an injury that happened during the offseason. So, it's been a bad injury for him so far. But, yeah, hopefully Rashee Rice can get better. And I would be surprised if he played for the Super Bowl this year. I mean, if they go to the Super Bowl, which they probably likely will. But we'll see what happens. All right, second to last. Jets fire head coach Robert Saleh after a slow start to the season. And also, Todd Downing will take over offensive play calling. So the new head coach as of right now, the interim head coach will be the defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich. He will take over as interim head coach. They announced Tuesday. Yeah, like I said, Ulbrich also announced that he's going to take away offensive play calling from Nathaniel Hackett, and they'll give it to Todd Downing, who was a quarterback coach, I believe. I mean, the crazy part is that Saleh becomes the second head coach in NFL history to be fired in the first 5 weeks of the season. He comes after former Panthers head coach Matt Rule back in 2022, and that team was not good. That team was horrible back then. So really not a good coach. Not good to be the second coach ever. I was almost surprised. I was surprised when I saw this firing. I was a little bit like, they fired Robert Saleh. I mean, I know, like, he never had a winning season. Yeah, I mean, he started 6 different quarterbacks, I will add. And, I mean, through 3.5 years, he had a combined record of 20-36, never having a winning season. I mean, I feel like if anything, we're going to get rid of, like, an offensive coordinator. I mean, their defense is okay. It's not as good as it was last year, I feel like. But I feel like the offense is definitely slow. I mean, I feel like that's either on Saleh or like on the offensive coordinator. We'll see what Todd Downing, what changes he makes, and we'll see what happens there. But during Saleh's time in New York, he started 6 different quarterbacks: Zach Wilson, Mike White, Joe Flacco, Trevor Siemian, Tim Boyle, and Aaron Rodgers. That's crazy. And never had a winning season. He coached for 3.5 years and had 6 different quarterbacks, which is absolutely insane. So we'll see if the Jets can turn around with their new interim head coach and new offensive coordinator. We'll see what happens there in New York. Obviously, there's something wrong in New York. I don't know what it is, but we'll see if they can turn it around somehow this year. But all right, the last topic. Saints quarterback Derek Carr, week to week with an oblique injury and the Monday Night Football loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, the good thing is, before the injury, Carr became the 25th quarterback in NFL history to reach 40,000 passing yards. Like I said, that's the third player that accomplished a milestone in this episode. I mean, obviously losing him is pretty huge. I feel like the Saints, like I said, what we learned from week 5, I believe, the Saints 2-0 start was a fluke. And it was week 5 or week 4. It was one of the two. I think it was week 4, yeah. But yeah, obviously, they started off really, really good, and they looked like they were going to be a problem in the NFL. But obviously, that's changed, and same for the Seahawks too. I mean, they've fallen off a whole lot too. But I mean, rookie quarterback Spencer Rattler is set to start Sunday. Obviously, he's the second quarterback to start this second rookie quarterback to make their first start of the year. Direct Maye, like I mentioned, with the Patriots. So yeah, I mean, I feel like Spencer Rattler is going to have a lot of upside. I really like him, honestly. I thought, honestly, before the season, I kind of liked him better than what I did with Derek Carr. And we'll see if he can outperform it and maybe win the starting job. I mean, honestly, that would not shock me. I really like what he did in South Carolina in college. I mean, Oklahoma was a little bit iffy. I remember watching him and thinking, this dude is terrible. But yeah, we'll see what he can do with New Orleans on tomorrow. I believe they play tomorrow. I don't know if it's Monday or what. No, they're not playing Monday. Yeah, they're playing tomorrow. All right. But yeah, we'll see how he does. Yeah, like I said, we'll just see. That's definitely somebody I'm not gonna be watching. I definitely want to see how rookies do in their debuts. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him. All right, quick hits, and then we'll go to reactions or highlights, whatever you want to call it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers leave Tampa earlier than expected due to Hurricane Milton. Dude, this was obviously hurricane's never a good thing, but thankfully it wasn't as bad as what people thought it would be. Like it was looking like it was gonna be really bad. Like that would have been bad. Like literally, I've seen actually a couple Florida license plates from where I am. I mean, I'm not really surprised because we're probably moving out for the moment. I mean, Hurricane Milton landed on Wednesday and tore the roof off the Tampa Bay Rays Stadium, which that was crazy. What Tropicana Field, that was crazy. I don't have any video footage of it, but you can look it up on YouTube or social media, wherever you get your stuff at. But yeah, now by the time the Buccaneers get home, they'll be, the hurricane's gone now. But yeah, hopefully that everyone else in Florida or just Tampa is okay. Because, that was a bad hurricane. Like, Hurricane Helene and then Milton, that's brutal, dude. All right, second quick hit. Patriots defensive back Jabril Peppers arrested on assault and drug possession before the Week 5 matchup against the Dolphins. The arrest happened last Saturday. The drug that Peppers was believed to have was cocaine, so I don't know if he's going to play this week or not. I'll look it up right now, but I don't know if he'll play. Let me see. I cannot type and talk at the same time. Well, I guess I'm reading it right now. The team is also missing Jabril Peppers after he was placed on the commissioner's exempt list on Wednesday. So we'll see what happens. I don't have a whole bunch of info on that. Eagles released linebacker Devin White, who didn't play a snap for the team all year. He played 4 games, and that's all. Yeah, the former All-Pro linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't play a single snap with the team, and that's how he's cut. So, all right, last one. Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors to miss second straight week with a concussion. Neighbors led the NFL in receptions with 35 and was second in receiving yards with 386. So, yeah, he won't play against the Bengals, and really I think the Giants will be just fine because the Bengals' secondary is just terrible. Overall defense is just really bad. Other than our defensive line was just horrible with Trey Henderson and Sam Hubbard. And Chris Jenkins, who I think will be a problem at some point in his career. Other than that, our defense is just dog water. It's just really ugly, and I'm kind of sick and tired of our defense just being super bad. All right, reactions. We have just 3 reactions this week. We're going to go to the first one. The Bengals' really weird delay of game. I was watching this live, and this delay of game is the worst delay of game I may have ever seen in my life. All right, and guess what? We still scored a touchdown on him. The very next play, we scored. We scored on him because you know what? Doesn't matter. If the league is rigged, so be it. We can score on him anyway. But here, I'm going to play it right now. Here we go. Line it up here. Or, not yet. So, I'm going to, just a picture right here. Here's the picture of it. As you can see, there's a ref right in front of the offense, or right behind the offensive line and in between Zach Moss, the running back in the backfield. So, the guy going like this. Then if you look right behind the center and in between Joe Burrow, there's a ref right there. Okay, I want you to watch him. And as the clock is ticking down, this is called a delay game because the ref is still right there and the clock is ticking, and the ref moves right as it hits 1 second on the game clock, and they call it delay game. Like, I was so upset about this. Like, how do the refs call this a delay of game? Give me one good explanation why that should be a delay of game. I don't care if you're a Bengals fan. I don't care if you're a Ravens fan. I don't care if you're just a fan of football or in the NFL. Why is that delay of game? Honestly, I don't want to see a Ravens fan complain and say, "Oh, that's not delay of game." Because honestly, if this happened to the Ravens, I would be happy about it. Like, I want to be super happy, but I would be okay, but why is this delay of a game? Delay game. Okay, I don't even know why. What is this? I don't know if the league is obviously rigged, but the refs are just terrible. They didn't even how do you not? This, I was so upset. I don't even know how. Whatever. I'm just speechless. The officiating is just absolute the worst in sports. I'm going to say it right here. I don't care. I don't watch any other sport than football pretty much. I don't know how bad their officiating is in basketball, soccer, baseball. I don't care. I mean, baseball, the umpires actually have pretty good eyes for foul balls and strike zones. But we have the worst officiating in the world. And I feel like there's no doubt now. I mean, obviously, also the league is rigged. So, that's all I got on the delay game. But now we go to a highlight. And those Seahawks and Broncos 100-yard scores. Let's go to the Broncos one. 100-yard pick six by Patrick Surtain. Doing his thing. Play it right now. Minshew. Play action. He's going to look. He throws it right at the goal line. Right to Patrick Surtain. He's got one man to beat, and it's Gardner Minshew, and he just gets, and then he's gone. He's gone. Yeah, flag. Which if I was a Broncos fan, I'd be like, oh no, just holding. But yeah, the flag didn't matter. Replay right here. I mean, he read this perfectly. I don't know if he was trying to throw to Jacoby Myers or trying to throw to Brock Bowers. If it was trying to go to Brock Bowers, that was a horrible throw. He's trying to go to Jacoby Myers, and I don't know what on earth he was doing. But whatever. All right. 100-yard one touchdown scoop and score by the Seahawks against the Giants last week. That was a wild game, too. I mean, a blocked field goal as well by the Giants to seal the deal. Here we go, right here. They run it in, and he's, like, stuffed. And then all of a sudden you see the guy running with the ball. Like the cameraman didn't know what to do. Like, he didn't know the follow him or what. But I don't think it was a blown whistle. But look, he's, like, no one's even close to him. Within, like, 15 yards, and he just starts, like walking. But, yeah, that was wild. You can see all the fans, and like right as he went over the goal line, they started cheering, which I thought that was funny. But 100-yard one scoop and score, and 100-yard pick six, and obviously the replay. If he was down, yeah, he was not down. I think it was more on top of the bodies. Honestly, that's just me though. I don't know where his knee is on this, so you know this may not have counted, but even if it didn't, it wouldn't matter anyway. Ooh, actually, wait. I'm looking at this for the first time. I think his. Yeah, I can't tell. I think the ball was coming loose before his thigh hit the ground. But still, great play by the Seahawks, and that was wild. What a way to get the first score of the game. But now we're gonna go to rookie quarterback Bo Nix. He got heated with the head coach Sean Payton. As you can see right here, he's starting. Yeah, there he is. I don't know what they're talking about, but he was not happy with whatever was happening. He leaves and then he turns back for more. Like, I don't know what this conversation was about, but they were not having it. I mean, they also went out to win the game. You know, it's 20-10, but who knows what happened? I think it probably a turnover, but who knows? All right, start him. Sit him. All right, this was a request a month ago because I did sleepers before. But here we go. You guys want to start him, sit him instead of fantasy sleepers. All right. Quarterback all the way to defense. So quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, kicker, defense. All right, start him. Start Jaden Daniels at the Baltimore Ravens. Start Jordan Love versus the Cardinals. I agree with that. Start Dak Prescott versus the Detroit Lions. Start Justin Fields at the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll see if he even starts. I don't know if he did or not. I haven't heard. Start Caleb Williams versus the Jaguars. All right. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry. Sit him. Sit Jared Goff against the Cowboys. Sit Geno Smith, obviously. Sit Justin Herbert at the Broncos. Sit Trevor Lawrence versus the Bears. And sit Aaron Rodgers versus the Bills. Yeah, those I feel like are no-brainers. All right. Running backs, all right? Start them, all right? Start Josh Jacobs versus the Cardinals. Start Tony Pollard versus the Indianapolis Colts. Start DeAndre Swift versus the Jaguars. Start Najee Harris at the Las Vegas Raiders. Start Chase Brown at the New York Giants. That's what I'm doing this week. I'm starting Chase Brown. I feel like he's going to go off like he has in the past few weeks. And sit Brian Robinson at at the Baltimore Ravens. I'm a Bengals fan, so I don't need to be watching the Bengals play until like Sunday night. So I'm gonna watch the Commanders Ravens game hopefully, and then I also want to watch the Cardinals if I can. The Cardinals Packers one, but Sit Raquan White at the Saints. Sit Devin Singletary versus the Bengals. I don't know about that one. This is according to the NFL, by the way. Sit Rico Dowdle versus the Lions. Sit Alexander Madison versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sit Zamir White versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, now we're going to go to wide receivers. We're going to go through every position as a request. Start DJ Moore versus the Jaguars. Start Zay Flowers versus the Commanders. Start Terry McLaurin at the Ravens. Start Jaden Reed and Datavion Wicks, both against the Cardinals. And then start Amari Cooper at the Eagles. Sit Garrett Wilson against the Bills. Sit Tank Dell against the Patriots. I might need to take notes. I mean, I have to start Tank Dell. I mean, I'm literally, like, I have a fantasy league, obviously, of the Deacon Talk Fantasy League, but I also have another one of just, like, a bunch of other people. But anyway, we'll get back to that. Sit Cortland Sutton against the Chargers, and sit Quentin Johnson and Ladd McConkey at the Broncos. All right, now we're going to go to tight ends. We're almost there. We have tight ends, kickers, and then defenses. Then after that, we'll be done with start 'em, sit 'em. Start Brock Bowers against the Steelers. Start Kyle Pitts at the Panthers. Start Dalton Kincaid at the Jets. Start Tucker Kraft at the Cardinals. Yes, I would highly suggest you guys do that. He had a great game against the Rams. And start Tyler Conklin against the Bills. Sit Mark Andrews against the Commanders. And Isaiah Likely against the Washington Commanders. I'm in trouble, dude. I'm in trouble. Sit Dalton Schultz at the Patriots. Sit Hunter Henry against the Texans. Sit Mike Gesicki against the Giants. I agree with that 100%. I mean, I don't even have him, but I wouldn't start him. I just want it. And then we're gonna go kickers. Start Younghoe Koo against the Panthers. Start Chase McLaughlin against the Saints. Start Kyami Fairbairn against Patriots. Start Austin Seibert against the Ravens. And start Evan McPherson at the Giants. Sit Cam Little against the Bears. Sit Caro Santos against the Jaguars. Sit Greg Zuerlein against the Bills. And sit Daniel Carlson against the Steelers. And sit Greg Joseph against the Bengals. All right, defense is the last one we're going to get to. And then I'll show you how I'm looking through in NFL Fantasy because you guys didn't know. Start the Pittsburgh Steelers defense against the Raiders. Start the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Start the Colts defense against the Titans. Start the Texans defense against the Patriots. And start the Bengals defense against the Giants. Okay, that's a little bit weird. Start the Bengals defense of all teams? Wow, that's crazy. Sit the Ravens defense against the Commanders. Sit the Cowboys defense against the Lions. Sit the Lions defense against the Cowboys. It's going to be an offensive game. I would sit both teams. Sit Browns defense against the Eagles, and sit the Saints defense against the Buccaneers. I'm going to let you guys know how I'm doing in the Deacon Talk Fantasy League this year. I'm currently sitting at 3-2 in the second best team in the league. I think it's division. I think I'm the second best team in the division. So right now I'm guaranteed to make the playoffs. Yeah. Well, no, I'm actually second best team in the league. Yeah, I'm second best team in the league, and I'm second in my division. So, yeah. I mean, right now I'm beating Laporta Potty, I guess. 9.20 points to 0. Let me know what you guys think of this. I'm starting Joe Burrow over Baker Mayfield. I started Jordan Mason, who had the 920. Obviously, I started him over Kyron Williams, who had a bye. I'm starting Chase Brown. I'm starting Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Isaiah Likely, because Travis Kelce's a bye. I might look for tight ends. I'm also starting Jaden Reed at the slot spot. I'm starting Brandon Aubrey at kicker, and I'm going to start the Steelers defense against the Raiders. So, yeah, that's what it's looking like for my fantasy lineup this week. But, yeah, we're going to go to the question of the week, the last part of the episode. We're episode time again. No surprise. Even after vacation, some things just never change. Question of the week. This one was back and forth between two questions, but I decided that this one was a bigger question. Is it time for a quarterback change in Cleveland? Honestly, this is one of the, if not the worst contract. It's like, it's looking dumber and dumber as games go on. This is the worst trade of all time, I think. The Watson-Mayfield trade, Mayfield is cooking right now. And Watson is absolutely playing horribly. Wait, was it? Yeah, well, it was Watson. No, it was not that Watson Mayfield trade. Am I getting mixed up? Am I doing something right? I don't know what's happening with me. But is it time for a quarterback change? My answer is 100% yes. I mean, he's playing poor football. Like last year, if I saw Cleveland and Philadelphia go up against each other, I'd be like, oh, this is going to be a really good game. Like, I probably would have leaned towards Philly because I was really high on them last year. But as of right now, if I was looking back at last year, I'd probably say the Browns. But now that, like, every time I see the Browns, like, Browns, Eagles, oh, Eagles, no doubt. I mean, obviously, the Eagles have a really good offense. But, yeah, I mean, it's 100% time for a change. I don't know if you could get, like, Jalen Milroe, Shador Sanders, who else is in there? Trying to think. I don't know. There's a bunch of other quarterbacks in the draft that will be up there this draft class. Or you could trade for a guy. You could maybe, if you really, really wanted to, pick up Ryan Tannehill, which I think would be really stupid to do. But it's 100% time for a change in Cleveland. It's time for a change of scenery. I mean, his time in Cleveland should be over. Like, it's bad. Like, I don't really feel bad for the Browns, but, like, I don't know why they're still starting him. I mean, their backup quarterback is what? Dorian Thompson-Robinson? I don't know if they still have him or not, but I feel like they should definitely start him over anybody else. But, I mean, we'll see what the Browns do there. If they decide to pick up a quarterback in free agency or wait till next year or maybe just tank to get a really top pick to get a guy like Jalen Milroe or Shador Sanders. We'll see what happens there. But, yeah. All right, before we go to predictions, I'm not doing a recap this week. This is the first week, really, of me, like, first full week of me being back. There's still a lot of jet lag, so, I mean, I'm still trying to get used to this. So next week we should have a full episode. Before we go on any farther, before we go to predictions, see if there's any more NFL news. Let's see. Giants, Daniel Jones faces key litmus test after a steady start. I don't know what that's gonna happen there. Yeah. Other than Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson is a game time decision tomorrow against the Titans, and Jonathan Taylor is ruled out. So that's all I have. That's info right there. All right, predictions. We're getting the notebook back out. Okay, week 6. San Francisco at Seattle. I took San Francisco. That was great. I mean, it looks like Seattle was driving down their first drive, but then they ended it with an interception to the 49ers. Sunday morning, Jacksonville against Chicago. I'm taking Chicago. Jacksonville is really falling off a cliff, I'll tell you that. And it's kind of embarrassing for Trevor Lawrence, the fact that he signed a huge extension this offseason and has nothing to show for it. So they'll probably go down as one of the worst contract extensions in the NFL if they keep going at this kind of pace. All right, 1 o'clock games or noon games, whatever you want to call it. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. I'm taking Tampa Bay. Washington at Baltimore. Game of the week, no doubter. It's going to be an offensive game. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. They have the better. I mean, offenses are pretty even. Jaden Daniels and Lamar, I feel like, are really good comparisons to each other. But the Baltimore Ravens have overall the better defense. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens there. I would not be shocked if the Washington Commanders won this ball game. Arizona at Green Bay. I'm taking Arizona. Colts at the Titans. I'm taking Indianapolis. Houston at New England. I'm taking Houston. And then the Cleveland Browns at the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles. And then afternoon games, we have the Chargers taking on the Broncos. I'm taking the Broncos. I feel like they're looking a lot better than they were at the start of the year. Or before the season started, they were looking like one of the worst teams in football. Obviously, that has changed. Pittsburgh at Las Vegas. I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Atlanta Falcons at the Carolina Panthers. I'm taking Atlanta. And last year, the Detroit and Dallas game was absolutely down to the wire in a thriller. Obviously, it ended up being an absurd call to win the game for the Lions, and it was not called the right way. The refs really messed that one up, but I'm taking Detroit in this one. And then Sunday night, Bengals at Giants. I'm honestly kind of surprised if people still believe in us, but every week I pick the Bengals. So Bengals on top of the Giants this week. And then Buffalo at New York, the New York Jets. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills, who have struggled early on, but I'm currently sitting at a 40 and 39 record. My first winning record since week 3 predictions. Currently 1-0 this week, and I'm 9-6 on the month. But those are predictions this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode. If you enjoyed, hit the like, the subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified of every single upload this channel makes. Hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of being back from vacation, a 4-week vacation to Europe. It was a lot of fun, but it's also really good to be back and getting in the groove of things again. But yeah, if you want to check out last week's episode, which I highly suggest you do, episode 30, the Chiefs beat the Ravens in a thriller by inches, which was a great game to watch. Game of the year candidate for sure. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week for another great episode on Deacon's NFL Talk.